Welcome to the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago's 2021 virtual reception. I'm Ravi Baichwal, an anchor and reporter with ABC 7 News in Chicago, and I am honored to be your host today. Today, the Council is presenting two honorees with the 2021 Community Excellence Award. Through this award, the Council recognizes individuals and organizations in both public and private sectors that promote interreligious harmony and the public good, either independently or in concert with the Council's activities. This year's honorees were chosen for their extraordinary contributions to the Metropolitan Chicago community during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Allison Arwady and the Chicago Department of Public Health providing guidance and services and strategies that make Chicago a healthier and safer city. Housing Forward is a recognized leader in suburban Cook County, offering a coordinated response that allows people experiencing a housing crisis to quickly resolve their situation. As we learned today, both of our honorees served with innovation and distinction as they served the needs of our community. So, to begin our program, I call on Rabbi Reni Dickman to offer the invocation.
God of all humanity, thank you for blessing our honorees this year with wisdom, with courage, and determination to work on behalf of people in need of their care and support. Today we recognize and express our deepest gratitude to Housing Forward, to Dr. Allison Arwady and the Chicago Department of Public Health. Thank you for your exemplary work. Thank you for laboring on behalf of those in need of your care and your persistence. May God bless you in your work. May you be healthy. May you be blessed with determination and optimism. May you have the resources you need to do your work effectively. May your work be fulfilling, and may you rejoice in your accomplishments. May God bless our city with health and with safety, with the spirit of collaboration and inspiration to continue this holy work. May you go from strength to strength. Amen.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Dickman. Now, I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Barbara Abrajano, President of the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago, to speak to us about the Council and its work.
Thank you, Ravi. On behalf of the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago, welcome to our 2021 virtual reception. We're delighted that you're able to join us. Today we are gathered to recognize some truly remarkable honorees. Together they have marshaled science, dedicated resources, and countless hours to bring safety and hope to our community. We honor them because their actions advance the goals of this council. When the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago was formed more than 35 years ago, Joseph Cardinal Bernardin, Rabbi Herman Schallman, Reverend Sterling Carey, and other religious leaders believed that our city needed to hear the united voices of the religious community on critical issues of the day. Today, our membership has expanded to include leaders from more than 30 faith communities, which represents hundreds of congregations and millions of residents. Our mission, however, remains unchanged: to help the vulnerable, to advance justice, to practice peace, to promote interfaith understanding, and to serve the common good. Since early 2020, the Council has focused on responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. It began planning for COVID-19 through discussions with the Chicago Department of Public Health and FEMA. The Council worked with the offices of Mayor Lightfoot, President Pruckwinkle, and Governor Pritzker to ensure the needs of faith communities were heard, and those communities received the information they needed in return. In addition, the Council created a framework for reopening places of worship, which offered general guidelines for reopening across the state. Last summer, the Council surveyed leaders at more than 120 congregations and 24 faith traditions, and we shared our findings with policymakers so that they understood how the impact of the pandemic has affected faith communities. This June, the Council publicly urged every eligible person to get vaccinated, and I am now pleased to say that we have entered a new phase of the pandemic response. With a recent award of a vaccine community mobilization grant from Health First Collaborative, the Council will work with area congregations to vaccinate up to 1,000 people in the lowest vaccinated areas of Chicago. Through all these efforts, the Council counters the message of those who turn to division and fear as answers to our problems. We know that we will succeed only when we are ready to work with each other to bring safety and hope to our community. Our honorees have dedicated their time, treasure, and great talents to building a community that offers both safety and hope for all of its citizens. We are so honored for this opportunity to thank them, and we are grateful that you are here to recognize them. We are also particularly honored that Mayor Lori Lightfoot is with us today. This reception provides the Council with vital resources to help us conduct our work. I invite you to visit our website at the link below and to become a partner with us in this effort. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, President Abrajano. Now, as Barbara mentioned, we are privileged to have Mayor Lori Lightfoot join us for today's event. And to introduce the mayor, I welcome Bishop Yehiel Curry, Bishop of the Metropolitan Chicago Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America and a member of the Council. Bishop Curry.
On behalf of the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago, I'm pleased and honored to introduce the Honorable Lori E. Lightfoot, Mayor of the City of Chicago. We're so grateful that she's able to join us. In the first months of her administration, Mayor Lightfoot met with the Council to share her vision for bringing hope to underserved communities on Chicago's west and south sides. We joined with her at her Solutions Toward Ending Poverty Summit in February 2020. At her invitation, we helped engage the interfaith community in the city's celebration of the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In addition, we've worked with her and her staff on other issues of social justice for the city. Over the many months of the pandemic, the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago has worked continually with Mayor Lightfoot and her staff to provide information, resources, and hope to faith communities throughout Chicago. We're grateful that Mayor Lightfoot joins us today as we recognize the Chicago Department of Public Health and its Commissioner, Dr. Allison Arwady, for their remarkable service to our city during this crisis. Mayor Lightfoot cares about the welfare of our city, and we're honored that she can join us at this event. Welcome, Mayor Lightfoot.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and I'm honored to introduce our incomparable and incredible Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Allison Arwady. Public health commissioners normally aren't public-facing figures, but nothing about these last 19 months have been normal. And since day one, our champion, Dr. Allison Arwady, has directly interacted with residents, community partners, and the press to answer our questions and to give us peace of mind. I don't know where we would be today in our COVID-19 journey without her guidance and depth of knowledge. Dr. Arwady is especially adept at tackling the very difficult challenges that we face now. And she spent time in the field fighting outbreaks overseas, such as Ebola in West Africa and HIV in Botswana. We are truly blessed to have a leader with her expertise and her calming demeanor. Dr. Arwady's management of this crisis on everything from reopenings and restrictions to testing and vaccines has literally saved countless lives in our city. It has also laid bare the groundwork for our historic recovery efforts. I could go on about the many ways in which she's responded and helped us through this incredible, once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. But more importantly, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arwady, on behalf of a grateful city. I am honored and grateful for your dedication to serving our residents, putting their health and safety above all else, both before and during this pandemic. I could not be prouder to have a leader like Dr. Arwady at the helm of our transformative public health mission. Congratulations on this well-deserved Community Excellence Award, and thank you, CRLMC, for recognizing Dr. Arwady and her team of champions and heroes at the Chicago Department of Public Health for their contributions to our city. Thank you, everyone, and please continue to be safe.
Mayor Lightfoot, thank you very much for your kind and gracious remarks. Now it is time to meet our first honoree. And to make this presentation, I call on Mr. Abdullah Mitchell, Vice President of the Council and also Executive Director of the Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago.
The COVID-19 pandemic rolled through Chicago like a tsunami. We were surprised by the speed with which it spread and the devastation to those infected. None of us knew how much it would change our city and our country. Among those who understood the gravity of this situation were Dr. Allison Arwady, the Commissioner of the Chicago Department of Public Health, and her team. As some of you may know, Chicago was the site of the first confirmed case of the coronavirus in the United States. And this was the catalyst that led Dr. Arwady to begin preparing us for the fight against COVID-19. In January 2020, her team reached out to the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago and asked us to be a part of their pandemic emergency response team. With the help of the Department of Public Health, the Council was able to provide timely, evidence-based information to our congregations. The Department of Public Health quickly became our go-to place for accurate, accessible, and understandable information about COVID-19 and the resources available to us. As the early days of the pandemic gave way to weeks and months of an ongoing health crisis, Dr. Arwady became the public face of our city's response. Her calm and candid answers to public health challenges helped guide the city through the worst of the pandemic. Today, Dr. Arwady and the Department of Public Health, in partnership with Mayor Lori Lightfoot, are working hard to make sure that everyone in Chicago is vaccinated. We sincerely thank Dr. Arwady and the Chicago Department of Public Health for their extraordinary service during this crisis. The Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago is now proud and honored to present to Dr. Allison Arwady and the Chicago Department of Public Health our 2021 Community Excellence Award.
On behalf of all of the members of the Chicago Department of Public Health, I am so grateful to the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago and so honored to receive and accept this award on behalf of the entire department. I love this council because it really represents so much of what has been good about our COVID response here in Chicago. It's been an awful 19 months and counting in a lot of ways, but I do think we've seen new connections built, whether that's across groups that historically may not have worked together, whether that's across community organizations, whether that's across government agencies, philanthropic organizations, and yes, across faith organizations. Where there are organizations like this council that pre-existed to bring together faith leaders from different traditions focused on what can best be done here in Chicago, those networks, I think, have served all of us well in trying to get Chicago through this pandemic. Faith leaders, as you all know, are generally the most respected leaders in the community. And when I think about the goals of all of your traditions, they have been critical to helping support Chicagoans. We think about the ways that you promote healing. We think about the ways that you promote connection. We think about the ways that you promote truth-telling. We think about the ways that you promote meeting the basic needs of so many of your congregation and members that are not from your congregation, but still you reach out and help serve them as members of the larger community here in Chicago. I have learned a lot from many of you during this pandemic. I have really appreciated your questions, your comments, your advice. I've learned what it looks like to try to solve problems of how to have music available in sanctuaries when there needs to be distancing and masks. And I know this is not something that any of you wanted to deal with. But I've also seen how critical your voices have been in comforting your congregations, in helping them make sense of a pandemic where more than 6,000 Chicagoans have died. And I know that you've been with those folks as they've had questions about faith and as they've had questions about vaccine and COVID. I thank you for being our partner at the Chicago Department of Public Health. I thank you for letting us bring vaccine into so many of your gathering spaces. And I thank you for lending your voice as we work to get Chicago not just through COVID, but stronger than we were. And it's connections like the ones you have on this council that I hope will be the legacy as we build a healthier, stronger Chicago for all. Thank you again for this honor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arwady, and our hearty congratulations and thanks to you and everyone at the Department of Public Health during this incredible crisis. Now, to introduce our second honoree, I call on Mr. Garnet Fay of the Religious Society of Friends and also a member of the council.
The COVID-19 pandemic took a tremendous toll on everyone in our community, the vulnerable among us most of all. As we sheltered in place, the people without a permanent place to live had the extra crisis of finding safe shelter in the heart of winter at a time when the very meaning of safety was being radically redefined. One group that met this extraordinary challenge is Housing Forward. Housing Forward works in suburban Cook County to provide a coordinated response that allows people experiencing a housing crisis to quickly resolve their situation. With the onset of the pandemic over a year ago, Housing Forward swiftly moved to garner support from donors, congregational groups, organizations, and small businesses to keep those experiencing homelessness safe. Their innovative efforts included the delivery of breakfasts and lunches and hot dinners, as well as the creation of dozens of hotel-to-home kits. But perhaps the boldest effort was the transformation of its rotating nightly shelter service and the creation of a 24/7 interim housing program based at the Right Inn Hotel. Last October, Housing Forward signed a one-year agreement to use the hotel, which is located in Oak Park, Illinois, as a 65-room shelter for its homeless clients. Officials say the hotel is not intended for long-term stays, but a shelter to get clients back on their feet. The creation of the interim housing program places Housing Forward in the vanguard of a national trend of nonprofits utilizing empty hotel space to safely house homeless individuals and families. Through the long crisis of the pandemic, Housing Forward worked quickly and decisively to ensure the welfare of some of the most vulnerable people in our community. The Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago is therefore pleased to recognize Housing Forward for their remarkable service during this crisis and present them with our 2021 Community Excellence Award.
Good evening. My name is Linda Schuler, and I'm the Executive Director here at Housing Forward. We are very honored to be receiving the InterReligious Leadership Award, recognizing our COVID response for those in the community experiencing homelessness. In March of 2020, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, Housing Forward had to get creative in our response to those experiencing homelessness. For 28 years, Housing Forward's PADS emergency shelter operated in the basements and fellowship halls of area faith communities. The shelter rotated every night, and daytime services were offered at our support center in Maywood. Our goal at the outset was to keep our clients, volunteers, and staff safe. To minimize exposure and maximize our ability to address COVID protocols, congregate shelter unfortunately was no longer an option. The pad shelter closed, and so did our support center. With the travel industry at a halt, Housing Forward moved its shelter operations into 3 hotels across our service area until we could assess our next steps. For 6 months, we operated a 24/7 program with staff and a small group of dedicated volunteers. 3 meals a day were purchased from area restaurants and provided to our clients. The guiding principles that we laid out at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic response was that no one would go unsheltered, that everybody would be placed into a hotel, that no one would be returning to the streets after the hotel experience. We wanted to quickly rehouse the most vulnerable amongst those staying in the hotels, and we wanted to leverage existing partnerships. Following a national trend in the fall of 2020, we then shifted our 3 hotel-based programs to an interim housing model at the Right Inn, a boutique hotel in downtown Oak Park. This model allows our staff and case managers more consistent access to those experiencing homelessness, giving us the ability to provide more focused efforts toward identifying permanent solutions for them. In just 1 year, Housing Forward's interim housing program was able to serve almost 150 individuals and families. 70% of those who moved on from the interim housing program moved directly into permanent supportive housing. The new model is nothing short of a success. On behalf of Housing Forward staff, volunteers, board of directors, and clients, I would like to thank the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago for selecting Housing Forward as a recipient of the InterReligious Leadership Award. While we do this work not for the accolades, it's a great honor to be acknowledged, and we are truly appreciative of this award.
Congratulations, Ms. Schuler, and thank you and Housing Forward for your remarkable service. The Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago thanks you for joining us today to acknowledge our honorees for their extraordinary contributions to our community. Their unselfish service is an example of how all of us can come together for the common good. It's why the Council has recognized them today. People with diverse experiences and beliefs living together, working together, all for the benefit of everyone. That is how the Council works, and that is why your support of the Council is so important. We are glad that each of you has made this work your own, and the Council is grateful for your support. And as we come to the end of our program, we want to again thank Mayor Lightfoot for joining us. And also, we want to thank our honorees for their service. And we also want to thank you for supporting the work of the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago. To conclude our program today, I call on Ms. Asayo Horibe, President of the Buddhist Council of the Midwest and a member of the Council, to offer the benediction.
We surround all people and all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Particularly do we send forth loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to all those in doubt and ignorance, to all who are striving to attain truth, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change men call death. We send forth oceans of wisdom and love. May the infinite light of wisdom and compassion so shine within us that the errors and vanities of self may be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and awaken into spiritual peace. To all enlightened ones who are present in their teachings, we pledge our loyalty and devotion. We dedicate our lives to the way of life they have laid down for us to walk. We resolve to follow their example and labor earnestly for the enlightenment and welfare of all mankind. May it be so.
I'm Ravi Baichwal. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your continuing support.